of them is along with the our sales process. So we'll start with the first one, is overview of the iBuild sales process and the sales funnel. We touched that last week, but for today's the whole presentation on the sessions will be based on that sales funnel. Okay. So we're going to emulate that process. So the first one, okay, we're going to a sales funnel. I'm going to show you. I shared this picture with many people before. Okay. So each month we have about 30,000 visitors to the website. And that translates to about 300 inquiries every single day. Okay. And I'm going to emulate that, pretending I'm a customer, how we see that come back to the back-end CRM system. So that's a subsequent sales training involved that. Okay. I'm going to call someone pretending I'm John Citizen, emulate, okay, to make an inquiry and how we along the journey, how the sales and management team deal with that particular hypothetical customer inquiry, from inquiry to generate a whole cost estimates to everything we do. And that will be translated to probably about close to 30 offers, cost estimates. Okay. And then in end, about 3 of sales, we managed to double, triple now to 9, which is amazing. So in the past 6 months, also just the monthly run rate. Okay. I think Metricon does about 100 sales a week. We do about 2. Okay, so Metricon is only 50 times bigger than us, but not too far away. No, not on recording. So it's okay. Okay, so we're not far away. Okay. So from that point, it's purely just 50 times. Okay. We do grow to that extent. Yeah, naturally, we grow to that extent. So this is the sales funnel we look at always from numbers point of view, and that 300 leads will be allocated to sales team member. I'm going to illustrate how that's allocated. So now I'm going to pretending I'm one of the 30,000 people come to iBuild's website, make an inquiry, and then how does the backend come in? Okay. So now I'm going to launch a new browser. Presumably, let's say I'm in Bendigo, let's say, or in Shepperton. Most of our clients are in regional or Alice Spring. Let's say Alice Spring, let's say. I might search for a living Alice Spring in Northern Territory. People will come here, oh, I'll be number 1. Oh, let's say use another example. Oh, I'm living in Bendigo. Oh, then I might be in, say, Aubrey. Oh, so I will always try to be number 1 in every regional city, towns, part of the job for marketing. Okay. Kudos to the marketing. Or maybe banana, whatever it's called. Banana. There you go. So you can see. So generally, that's the power we have. Why people come to us is because they're searching for their name and we localize our searches. They may even search that like state level. When we may be here, not the top 3. This is highly more competitive. If say New South Wales, it might be number 1 today, but this fluctuates every day. So part of our marketing job is to drive the traffic of 30,000 people, double that, 60,000, for example. And there are systematic ways of doing that. We are doing our fundamental works to drive that growth That's why I'm as confident as to say, yeah, Michigan is 50 times bigger than us. Not a big deal. 7 years ago, we're just tiny, double, nothing. Okay. So we can achieve those organic growth gradually. So this is how people come search to us. Let's say now I'm in New South Wales. Let's say I just click on iBuild #1. So that's interesting. So I click on the website, that becomes one click of the 30,000, right? And then the browse through the website, the content. This is our predominant inbound channel. Okay? Means they will say, oh, I want to do a 2-bedroom. They will say, oh, a lot of these, those wanted images, particularly recent ones. Credit to somebody who's sitting here. A young, talented female engineer.
The podcast princess.
Podcast princess. You can see, yeah, this is how the team worked together to create amazing product presentation, not only just 3D rendering and a floor plan, but also wonderful 3D walkthroughs. You can, and that's adding every month. I'm not going to play, but you can see the gist of the work. So let's say I'm John Citizen. I'm doing that. That's impressive. And Elizabeth and of course Ivan and the whole team try to produce 4 new designs each month. Similar quality or even higher quality when the new one comes. When the roof take off, you can see everything. It's amazing. So thanks to that powerful computer, of course.
Very loud.
Yeah. It's like $4,000.
Yes.
Triple the price of it. Anyway, but I'm happy. Okay, good. So now I'm John Citizen. I'm really listen, I'm in love with this PLV 44. This is so good. I'm going to contact them. Okay, so the contact method there, one way of here on the sidebar, or you come here. Let's say I'm John Citizen. I'm just making inquiry. Okay. And let's say a pseudo number. Email. So let's say, you hear about us? Most likely web searches. And they may say, I'm in love with share view.
Podcast princess.
Can you tell me what's the cost for bell rating without Gibson? Let's say, which file for example? It's often a question. Or and what about 2.7 meter ceiling? Typical question is being asked. Right? Most likely we come to this channel, and sometimes they even call us as well, which there's 1-800 number, you can call us. And then you can see the customer will be directed with a video deliberate designed message to project that perception that we are a reputable, trustworthy organization. It's about 3 or 5 minutes. So that's a dark full sales champion in business, and project that image, encourage them to filling a form. We call it form CR1. So the first step for any customer engage us, when we ask them to fill in the form. If it's down, do that, spend the time, do that, we know there. If they're not willing to spend 5-10 minutes to fill in a form, most likely we can call them, but still request them to fill in a form. The reason is for qualification purpose, because we have 30,000 traffic You can't serve everyone. We're trying to filter who's genuine, who's not ready, who's ready. Okay. Those questions, let's say I'm doing that one online quickly. So they are a residential, commercial client, and even international client. The form's slightly different. So there's tabs here. Now, once they watch it, they're going to fill in a form CL1. There's a PDF version which people can download. Looks like this. Okay. And also there's a web version. Therefore, they can start process to fill in their names, etc. But in the end, it automatically generate a format like this. So I'm not going to go through this process, otherwise it takes too much time. But essentially, we're asking some very critical questions. They capture their email address, contact details in addition to that. But do you want to do it yourself? Or do you need a builder? Most sales go to DIY because we can't serve DIY because we don't build for them. We have to look for somebody to help them. Okay? So DIY, and they are specifically, we ask, do you have the land? If you don't have the land, from a sales point of view, if I'm Brooks, well, you don't have the land yet. We just send you a standard email response. Contact us again when you have the land. Right? It takes time. Yeah. So that's the qualification. Also, we ask them what kind of products are you interested in? Is 1 bed, 2 bed? What's your time frame? And what's your budget? Okay. And you can see here, we even ask them, how would you fund this project? Is that funds available? Do you need a borrow a loan from the bank? And if someone say, I can provide proof for funds. Okay.
You can't qualify them.
Yes. Yeah. And even for finance approved, it doesn't mean they are good fit for us. The reason is we collect money up front before they start, before the goods get fixed on the land. Bank generally for construction loan, they won't release funds until frame stage, base stage, until goods are on the soil. So if they are borrowing money from the banks they approved with construction loan, that's no good for us. Our sales team will be waste a lot of time running around in there and find out, okay, you can't do it. You better figure out that early on rather than waste everyone's time, waste their time as well. So our finance means it's equity loan, means you can withdraw cash straight away, or we have a partner called Handy Pay, which they can essentially personal loan can lend up to $75,000 per person. For a couple, they can lend up to 150 grand. So that's the qualification part. I noticed there's a check, see any questions from remote. Yes, Brooks.
Jackson, for that section of the CR1 regarding funds, now this isn't necessarily something that we need to change, but something that the team should know is, in my experience talking to customers, there are some customers who usually get very questioning and suspicious of iBuild. When looking at the tick box, I can prove that I have funds available. Now, this is something that doesn't happen very often, but let's say out of 1,000, I've had the experience of perhaps 100 people getting very suspicious around that one tick box.
Yeah, that's okay. Naturally, you may or may not know some builders before they sign the construction contract, they insist their client to provide proof of funds before they're willing to sign a contract for builders. The reason is a builder will, if they're not sure you have that financial security, the builder needs to spend a lot of money to buy goods, etc., and put it there, and hopefully you can pay them the money because they need to have this certainty. Because builder particularly is they do the work first, then get paid for. That's okay. If they're suspicious, that's not our, yeah. We have plenty of leads. That's what I'm trying to say. Our job is not satisfy every lead. We probably 50-60% of the leads, we can't service it at all. You better early on filter out and concentrate on those who is a good fit for us.
I wasn't so much wishing to change it, more share the experience. From my knowledge, those kind of customers usually are not the ones that follow through with us.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. If they do have a tougher luck with builders will say, we don't actually ask them to produce the proof. Builders, when you sign the contract, most of them will insist, show me your approval letters before we can sign the contract with you. I'm sure, Charlie, you have some experience. Okay, so that's John Citizen example. So we come back to this case. So now sometimes they don't fill in the form straight away. The sales make inquiry, just leave them, don't proceed. That's okay. Our sales team will follow up. Say, oh, we haven't received your form CL1. Can you please fill it in? Okay. If you're not willing to fill in, I say, I'm sorry, we can't do much about your situation. We don't know too much about what you need. You have to fill in the form. That's how we try to get the forms back, because this is a good way to filter out of tire kickers, so-called. Means somebody just pick up from find your price, that price. Well, we're not in that business. We want to filter out the genuine customers who's passionate about it. Therefore, make everyone's job much easier. Sales team, project management team. Okay, so that's the first section about the overall sales process. I think I will pause here for any comments or question or further input about the sales process. So back to this particular chart here. Okay. Good, everyone comfortable with the sales process? Okay, so now we know this is how the customer come to us, and you're all impressed by how the marketing machine underlying to generate the leads, because they come to us by organic search. We've got yes, Brooks.
Something that you mentioned just then, Jackson, is some customers wish to send through their CR1 straight away with their inquiry. Now, when that does happen, particularly if those leads are then allocated to someone on the sales team, in my experience, I haven't been able to access any of the documents that they have initially sent in with their inquiry.
Okay, so I think I know what I'm trying to say. If the send, so what Brooks' question is, if customer proceed with this form, the web form will be sent to the customer service desk, which is either Raksha or Thomas here. Thomas, did you ever receive some? No?
So I get some info, but I've never received. I get CR1s in the info, but they're from VT.
Not from VT. You want to get from VT.
Oh,
it will be from the Zoho email.
Oh yeah, I barely get anything from Zoho.
So maybe it's Raksha. I noticed it's very haven't received recently.
Yeah.
Is system something wrong? Just check.
Yeah, because I personally haven't experienced a lot from.
We used to receive probably 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
It means the form CR1s.
Unless.
Raksha, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, Jackson. So according to my understanding, whenever a customer submits, always to info at iBuild.com.
It's info@ibuild.com.au. We should receive them regularly.
Raksha or Thomas, what's the best way for someone in the sales team to be able to access those documents rather than having to request them again from the lead?
Look, that's something me and Raksha will discuss that, and we'll get back to you on that.
No, I can answer that question.
Okay.
Brooks. So in the past, when the form, even today, arrived, sales team will immediately identify this lead forward to the responsible salesperson. Because if they submit a phone John Citizen, and we look it up on our database, search for John Citizen, and locate who is responsible for that.
Yeah, which I've done previously, but I don't. The ones from the website aren't coming through. I'm pretty good.
So I'm going to run a example, just illustrate. Now, typically, we'll say from CR1.
Jackson, does the salesman get a copy of the CR1?
So this is an example Brooks sent on the 19th of, this is sent to Brooks on the 19th of August. That's a typical form CR1.
Which I did send, yeah.
So Brooks, is that something you did not get? Maybe check your spam folder.
I can double check that. The majority of my allocations with a CR1, they don't follow through once being forwarded with the attachments.
That's correct. Majority of people don't submit at the time of submit a form.
Yeah, that's I think yeah.
For example, Thomas, there was someone in the past 5 days looking for a custom estimate, and they said that they had attached plans. Those plans did not come through with their initial inquiry, with the plans attached when forwarded to me.
Which one was that?
Bear with me, I'll just quickly find.
I think we better take offline.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go to specific cases.
Yeah, look, just ping me, Brooks, just ping me and I'll talk to you about it.
Thanks, Thomas.
Okay, so this is a typical example. The front line, all the central mailbox info@ibuild.com.au will receive all the correspondence. Then Thomas and sometimes Rakshan assist to allocate inbound email messages if it's related to sales to responsible sales team member. Okay. So that's supposed to work in such a way. If not, then we take offline to address them if individual cases. But here's an example, Brooks. If you don't have KT Watts, which is just last week, 7 days ago, you should make sure you go check your spam folder.
Will do, Jackson.
You can see, for example, this is form CR1. That's come through by Mark has one, etc.
Yeah. So we are getting it.
Okay, so let me close it. This one. So this concludes lesson 1, sales process overview. We are take half an hour, which is we should speed up. But this first one is most important. Is the framework. The rest is all tactical.